We're in Hallein, which is near Salzburg, and we're working on the Forbidden Zone.
Forbidden Zone is the 8th collaboration between 59 Productions and director Katie Mitchell, and we've increasingly come to refer to our work together as live cinema. We take what is essentially a fairly traditional theatre and we build into it a number of film sets. We then put actors with cameras and camera operators inside those spaces to film other performers giving very detailed performances. So what the audience can watch in real time projected on a large cinema screen, which is part of the overall set picture, is the creation of a cinematic quality live film, while also being able to watch how that film is being made.
The story is based on the life of Clara Immerwahr and her husband Fritz Haber.
In Friedenszeiten dient der Wissenschaftler.
Fritz Haber was a scientist in 1915 in Germany, and he invented fertilizer, and then he invented one of the first chemical weapons, chlorine gas. His wife was very, very angry about this and didn't feel that science should be used to destroy people in this way. And she killed herself at the party to celebrate the successful release of chlorine gas in Berlin in 1915. The thing that makes this show different to all of our live cinema shows is the sheer complexity of the number of narratives. So in this instance we have 4 different narratives in 2 time zones.
This is a live cinema show, so it's very different to writing in any other medium. This form favours action and image much more than spoken dialogue. So a lot of what we've been doing is focusing on the structure and focusing on the events throughout the story.
The set for Forbidden Zone is unusual in that it's got not only a number of quite detailed period 3 or 4 wall sets within which the action takes place, there's also a subway train. And because we're able to put cameras inside and outside that train, we can then apply, for example, elaborate lighting effects that really do create the convincing effect that those performers are travelling at high speed through a subway tunnel. There's very little suspension of disbelief required. When you look at the cinematic output of that picture, there's all kinds of camera movement, there's moving lights, the actors are moving as though they're on a train, and of course there's this sound design and sound effects. And the joy of seeing something done that convincingly, repeatedly through the piece in a way that builds and becomes more dramatic and more exciting as the show goes on, really justifies the application of this process and this technology to the material. There's an extraordinary level of documentation which has to go into recording the work, not just in terms of actually making video recordings and being able to play them back, but the level of note-taking and information storage is unbelievably high. Every single performer and every single camera operator has a kind of Bible of notes which tells them exactly what they should be doing at any given moment. It's very, very hard to keep up the momentum of going from shot to shot for an entire hour-long piece. So the process of actually putting the whole thing together has a real sort of edge of danger to it, because at any moment, literally anything could go wrong.
Are you all right, man?
While we've been developing the technology and the way we apply that technology over the last 8 years, we're at a kind of watershed moment now where really dramatic changes are about to happen. And we're going to make sure that with the forthcoming productions using this same technique, we're pushing it even further than we've ever managed to go before. That's both in terms of the techniques that we're able to use, but also some extraordinary new capabilities open to us in terms of resolution and frame rate. And we're also looking at exploring these 3D cameras and playback so that we can add another dimension to an already multi-dimensional audience experience.